first thing for prayer to be effective in is to give Salah its time. Because Salah really begins from the point that you get up and you say, I intend to pray, and so you do wudu. And wudu in itself, as you do wudu, you should imagine that you're cleansing away sins. And the water, the purifying element of water, so you're getting, you're putting yourself in the zone, so to speak, from the point that you're doing wudu. And if prayer is done while you're rushed, it's not going to. It's always going to be, if you're squeezing prayer in between things. So to the extent possible, prayer should be given its time, its adequate time. And that's also why they say that, it's highly recommended that you to the extent possible, that until you get that power of mind over matter, that you when you pray, you are not thinking of a meal, you're not thinking of a conversation that you need to have, you're not thinking, so you try to do prayer where. And the first thing about prayer is that the heart and core of Salah is that you are telling Allah, I am communing with you to tell you that whatever you will for me, I accept, and give me the wisdom to bear patiently what you will for me, and to understand it and to welcome it. And that is the beginning of everything. Is that the minute you say Allahu Akbar, is that Allah, what I know that this you are, you determine everything, and there is nothing, as the Quran says, that there is nothing that can hurt me unless you allow it to hurt me, and nothing that can benefit me unless you allow it to benefit me. And I am coming to you embracing completely that my entire fate is in your hands. And then the next step is that my entire fate is in your hands, and that I have no better guide as to how to manage my affairs in this world than you. So please guide me. And as you are, reading the Fatiha, as you're reading the Surah, as you're doing Subhana Rabbi al-Azam, Subhana Rabbi al-Ala, you're doing your ruku', you're doing your sujood, you're doing your Salat al-Ibrahimiyya, you're doing what, that is the core thing that you constantly remind yourself of, is that Allah's will is supreme, and I happily accept it, and I need Allah's guidance to manage my affairs in this world. And so that is why when the closer you are able to achieve this meaning in Salah, the more Salah is a communion. So you actually, when the sense you get is of relief. By the time it's as if you've taken a break from the world. And the thing, the biggest people often, I'm surprised, like when I started noticing with a lot of people that they don't give Salah its time. They it's not necessarily that they even pray late, or they might. A lot of people will just pray at the last minute, but they'll squeeze Salah in, and then they'll complain, well, I don't feel the impact of Salah. Well, you're not going to feel the impact if it's squeezed in. It has to take its time, and it and you. It's like as the Prophet ﷺ said, that when you pray, you visualize yourself in whatever imagery you're able to draw in your mind, that you're standing literally before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is as if Allah is standing right there in front of you. And it's not as if, because Allah is standing there. Not just in front of you, but behind you, in front of you, next to you. The minute you say Allahu Akbar, you're in Allah's presence completely and fully. And if you imagine how many times we say Allahu Akbar and enter prayer, but we don't give Allah's due, and that has a cumulative negative effect. Because it's impolite, it's rude. If you stand between Allah's hand, give Allah, at least the reverence and respect that, that's what one should strive. And if one keeps reminding themselves of that, it will bear fruit. It will have an effect. It's just that people forget. But if one is determined and keeps, whatever one needs to do to remember that, whether it's, keeping a log or whatever, it will make a difference.